Hi, I'm Natasha Lockhart. Welcome to Studio Chatter. It may not be the same, but Fiesta Days is coming up quickly.
I'm Stacy Beck. We'll talk about why we love Fiesta Days so much. It's our favorite time of the year.
And I'm Angie Murphy. If you're a fan of Disney's Frozen, well, we have a treat for you.
And our favorite rodeo clown will be joining us. We've got lots to talk about coming up on Studio Chatter. Welcome to Studio Chatter. How's everybody doing?
Good, good.
We are
How
doing
are you?
good. We've made it through the first month of summer.
Oh, I
think
love
a little
June.
bit. I do too. And it's been kind of cool. I mean, we've had moments of like some hot heat.
Yeah, it's kind of been like this.
Yeah, it has.
All over.
It's really springtime. But our cute little mayor's mama died, and so we want to send our condolences and our love to his family. She was just a beautiful woman. And actually, my little sister is married into their family. And so I've just heard such kind, good things about her. She was a dear, dear lady.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
We extend our condolences.
Condolences.
How are you, Natasha?
Well, just living the summer dream, you know.
What are you up to?
Working from home, dying in the heat actually right now. So I'm grateful for the cool days right now. Our AC decided to die, and my husband, bless his dear heart, didn't want to have the service call. So we've just been sticking it out and waiting for the part delivery. So that should be here in the next day so he can put in the fan.
So the other day, my husband called and said, I have some bad news. The washer, I think is out. You guys, my washer, have I told you what year? We bought it in 1990.
Stacy, mine's not much better. I think mine's like 2000, but I keep saying, come on, let it go out.
It's
let
a minor leak, and I'm like,
mine
no,
to die
honey.
too. Is it a Whirlpool?
No.
What brand is it?
Kenmore,
Do you
and
know?
I want it. I don't want it.
You want it.
It's both my washer and dryer are 30 years old.
That makes me so happy. Mine are kind of the same.
I'm like, Chris, you just fix it. That leak, let's just get a part. He's like, okay.
Oh my word! You need
they last
Mikey to come
forever.
and fix it because he can seriously.
He's
he'll
fixed
fix
it like a.
really.
I bet we've put maybe $200 into our washing machine.
The way they used to make stuff just was built to
If we
last.
buy a new one, it'll
I've
be done
heard-
in 7 years.
I've heard that the agitators are much better just to keep the old ones. Don't get the new ones. So
Mine's starting to squeak just this past like 3 or 4 months. Maybe COVID got to it.
You can do it. You can make it.
It was
through.
squeaking. I was like, how much does that bother me?
maybe we're showing our age a little
We
bit.
are.
But
So-
maybe the old ones do work better. But no, I thought it was kind of funny because the part to fix the air conditioning was maybe $15, but the service calls are like $500.
Oh.
But you purposely can't get
The part
they make
without it.
parts hard
Yes.
to get because of the service call. So anyway, it was kind of interesting. So we've been camping in our front room.
Okay.
So opening the windows and letting the cross breeze come
Oh, that
through
does
and
feel
folding
good.
out the couch, and the kids have just been
Loving it.
But the two of you, I know, have been actually camping.
We
So
took
how's
our
that?
trailer up. It was my daughter's birthday, and it was the weekend of Father's Day. So
Okay.
we went fishing, and we were in this we went up Fairview Canyon, and we're in this valley with a huge meadow all to ourselves.
So nice.
Right
Gorgeous.
next to a reservoir, and it was just so fun. It was just good to have the grandkids run around, and they were in heaven and had s'mores, and we did scavenger
Isn't
hunts.
it so great
and-
for the kids? I've been living kind of vicariously through both of your pictures. So you did a little bit of fishing, and we did the same on Father's Day. So my kids they've gone fishing now for the first time with their grandpa.
Oh, okay.
So they were just in heaven over that. And I saw some pictures of your kids and your grandkids also. So,
Were you fishing or just boating?
Where were you?
We went up to Rhett's family has a little cabin up in Midway, and we call it the ranch, but it's just
So
an old
nice.
1960s house with property. So we went up there, and then we were able to swim at Zermatt because they have a little condo up there. And then we did do some boating, but it was just like a little calamity, weekend.
Your boating day? Or the whole weekend?
The whole weekend. It was kind
Some
of
weekends
funny.
are that.
Rhett started out we were supposed to leave Wednesday night. He cooked some steaks from Trader Joe's, and it just tasted funny. He ended up getting stomach sick.
Oh no.
He stayed home that night. I went up with some of my kids. Then the other ones came up on Friday. Bo decided to stay home to go to football camp.
Okay.
And then we took the boat out, and some sensor started going off.
Did you rent a boat? You don't
No,
have one?
Rhett's dad has one,
Oh,
so
okay.
we just borrowed
Okay.
his. And So we went up there and the sensor started going off, and then we were calling all around, couldn't figure out what it was, and it was just like some heat thing. So we ended up, and then it started white capping.
Oh, of
it was
course.
just funny stuff, but it was good.
but
We
good
ended
memories.
up like having a good time, and I ended up taking Noxanoli to the pool all by myself.
Oh.
And I'm like, I've got
Brave.
this. I'll give everyone a
Brave.
break, and I could use a dip in the
And,
pool.
and did you get that?
Kids, we jumped from like pool to hot tub to indoor pool. I mean, and some little lady looked at me and she's like, "You have a lot of stamina." I was like, I'm just trying to
Bad idea.
I'm sure by the end of the day we're probably
Oh.
pooped. We're gonna have to find the footage to roll too from your Instagram. I want to know, there was like a rolling. You were like roly poly.
Oh, that was Mackenzie, my daughter.
Okay.
How she did a funny little
okay.
thing and then rolled into
Yes,
the
what was that?
water. She's just funny.
Okay.
She's just
I'm
Trying to
funny.
lighten the mood
I'm
for
like,
the
was
day.
somebody scared?
And that was
I'm
a highlight. We
I'm
had a
what was
dance
roly
party.
poly? It's somebody scared of the water? Was
No.
it cold? Was it?
She was just being silly,
Okay.
Oh,
I didn't
boy.
see
doing the
whole
well
thing.
roll into the water.
Oh.
And I saw you. Well, I'm a foodie, so of course I'm always paying attention. I'm like, oh, she went to a restaurant. So
Yes,
you
we
went,
did.
You went out.
Yeah, we did. So we did take out a couple times, and then we went to the corner restaurant. It's up
Okay.
in Midway, new little restaurant.
Oh, how
Darlene,
fun.
so awesome, and I felt pretty safe.
Well, was it outdoor? Was it outdoor seating?
Well, they had outdoor and indoor. We
Okay.
ended up sitting indoor at a big old table, but then we went outdoors after and let the kids run around and listen to the music. But
You know what a fun activity on Friday nights in Spanish Fork is? The Friday night food trucks.
Food trucks.
Oh,
That's outdoors.
yeah, we need to do that.
And I think it
right.
starts at 5 p.m.
And then you can just like roam
I
around
know,
the
it's
park, and
yeah,
it feels
just take blankets down and visit.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll talk more about Fiesta days in our open segment, but on the 24th, that's what they're going to do is, since the 24th is on a Friday, they'll have the Friday night food trucks.
oh, good idea.
So
'Cause-
that'll happen.
yeah, we'll talk more about that. but
Yes.
lots of no's.
Well, I just can't believe that June is already over. I
Oh.
mean, I really feel like it was just catching up from everything that we had missed in the spring. I know at our house, we all of a sudden, like, it was dance competitions and we caught that up. And then it was work conferences and we caught that up. And then Barrett was invited to Good Things Utah with her little friend. And
How
so
did that go?
That was
I haven't
super
heard.
fun. So it was just basically talking about their friendship and inclusion and diversity. So just kind of on the heels of what we had talked about last time in our segment. So that was super fun too. So
What a treat for these girls.
It was.
Were they nervous, or were they okay to do
no,
it?
they were super fun. Actually, they were a little shy on camera, but of course, when the camera stopped rolling, then they were all about their TikTok
Yeah.
moves, whatever. But yeah, it was super great, and it's always interesting to see those types of political issues through children's eyes and kind of how they view things and how they really just don't see color. So that was just kind of
Good for them.
fun to do that also, just from how things ended last time. So
Neat.
yes, on to July and Fiesta days and all those fun things.
We have a fun
Got lots to
segment.
talk about,
Yeah.
guys.
Absolutely. Next on Studio Chatter, we'll visit with Anna and Elsa. Stay with us. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. One of the very fun events at Fiesta Days is the Community Theater. This year we'll enjoy the Youth Theater's production of Disney's Frozen Jr. Welcome Brooke Grant as Anna and Maggie Peterson as Elsa. Thanks for being here with us.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you.
course.
How exciting.
This is going to be fun.
This is Elsa and Anna. I have two grandkids that are obsessed, and I thought after a year would kind of let it go.
Oh, pun intended.
No pun intended, right?
No, I mean, I was awestruck when you guys came in, so I could only imagine the kids and their reaction to you guys.
They're so cute, and they're
So
so
fun.
excited for the whole thing. So
Well, let's back up to
Yes.
a couple of months ago. A couple of months ago in March, you had the production ready to go,
Yep, we were ready
Yes.
to start Tech Week. when
and
everything
COVID hit.
Shut down.
So you had spent all this time practicing, and you got shut down. But then, because of the normal community theater not being able to practice, they've canceled that, and you guys
And
get
now
to
we get to
swoop in and take their
perform.
place.
Hopefully, fingers
Yes.
crossed.
You're like, we'll step in.
Yeah.
No problem, right?
So how much extra practice had to go into from when you stopped to now doing this performance?
We start rehearsals back up next Wednesday, and we'll have how many days? We'll have
About
2
2
days
weeks.
to review dances, and then
we go right into dress rehearsals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's
So-
fast. and we're just all trying to piece together our lines and our songs and our dances to remember
Relearn
all of
them
them.
all.
Exactly.
Did you feel like it wasn't ever going to happen? Like
Oh,
you kind
yeah.
of
A
had
little-
dismissed
a
it
little
a little
bit.
bit?
Yes.
Wow. That is awesome. That
That's so fun. So tell us a little bit about you. Have you always been involved in theater? Is this your first big show or your first big role?
So I'll start.
Go for it.
So I have done youth theater for about 6 years now.
Okay.
I've done 6 years in a row. This is my second-ish lead role. I did Annie with them in 7th grade. I played
Oh.
Annie, so
Okay.
we're doing a redhead again.
Oh,
So
love
yeah, and
that.
I participate in theater with the community theater, and I've done shows in Springville and with my school. So
Okay.
That's fantastic.
yeah.
My
What about you?
family has always loved Broadway shows. So every time we visit New York City, it's always a Broadway show. And so my siblings will always sing like Broadway pieces in our car, in the kitchen, wherever we are. And that was what really like made me love theater. So this is my 3rd year, and this is my biggest lead role. I've had leads all throughout elementary school and junior high, but now I'm like, this is my show.
This is
Time.
your
time. Exactly.
So what is your 2 favorite parts in the production? Like what's your favorite?
That's a hard one. My favorite part is I get to do like so many. It's a huge range of emotion, and so I get to be, clumsy and awkward and bubbly and happy, and then near the end I get to, be sad and then, die or whatever, and then come back to life. So yeah, it's like really fun to be able to like show off all the emotions that I can do.
I like that.
So I was lucky enough to be in New York City in December and see Frozen. So that was super cool. And there's a few new songs that we've not heard in the movie. Can you tell us a little bit maybe about those, or how things are a bit different in the stage production?
Did you want to take this one?
Yes. So one of my songs is called Dangerous to Dream. And it's really this battle between Elsa and just herself, trying to figure out how to love her sister but have this magic power. And it's a hard thing for her to balance between the two, because she has had this, as children they were so close, and now it's a difficult thing where she feels that she has to hide it. And so I have loved learning this song and being able to see all of the emotions that are conveyed throughout this song, and just the love but being cautious and careful about this whole thing. And it's a beautiful, beautiful piece.
And then there is a song that Oaken and his family sing called Higa, and it's about this word that it means comfort and like happiness, and how we need to have that even throughout like the hard stuff. So yeah, there's that one too.
Oh, wow. That'll be fun. Were both of those songs in the play in New York? So I can tell you guys are both like very articulate and smart, just like listening to you. So what schools do you go to, and how old are you both?
I'm 16 and I go to Spanish Fork High School.
Okay.
I'm 17. I go to Maple Mountain High.
And in the community junior theater, what are the age range? Does it max out at 18?
It does.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it depends on the show. Sometimes they bring in 5-year-olds, and then sometimes it cuts up at 8.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
okay.
all adult roles are all played 18 and younger.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's really neat. Okay, so is it just showing one night, or are you doing multiple nights? How is that production going to look with
we show
COVID?
multiple nights, and then we have 2 matinees. The 24th and the 25th, we do matinee shows.
Oh, fun.
And then the rest of the week, I believe it's 5 performances,
Yeah.
where they're all evening productions.
Oh.
Well,
Okay,
I think
this
that
is
we're
gonna
gonna.
be
I
fun.
think that we're gonna
Yeah.
be there
I
for
want
sure.
them to perform right now. Like I want to sing.
I know. I love that there's a combination of both the performing and the singing. So
Yes.
have you just been, distancing is probably so difficult when you're trying to get ready for a major production, and you have to be involved with people and of course interact, and there's probably some romantic scenes and there's some I believe you probably have junior versions of yourselves. Are there smaller versions?
Yes, there
Yes.
are
Okay.
smaller versions of each of us.
So there's
cute.
6 Annas and Elsas.
Yes.
Oh, no
wow.
way.
Yes. They're
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to ask you both to stand up and show us your outfit.
Yes.
Because Elsa, the back of yours is really beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Let's see it.
Just, it's so pretty and
Gorgeous.
it's long. Hopefully I don't trip in it.
Yeah, gotta be careful with that. And then there's this cape. I was really worried about the cape because I was worried it was gonna be really heavy and I was gonna get really hot. But it's really light, which is
lightweight.
nice.
Fairly light.
Yeah.
And do you have other costume changes, I'm sure?
Yes, I have one. So I have the coronation gown in the very beginning, and then I change into this one for the rest.
You both look beautiful.
And she's got her little like stripe of white in her
I
hair.
know.
I
Is
it
love
on this
that.
side?
All the details.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other scene, the scene with in the spa. Do you know what
It's from the movie.
Yeah, okay.
So ours, the
has
one
to
you're
be
talking
fun.
about, is a part of the movie that we don't put in the production.
Okay.
Now it's just the Oakins shop
Yeah.
where Anna comes in
Okay.
and
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
asks for her winter clothes where she meets the entire family.
Oh,
Have you both
fun.
seen this Broadway show before?
I have
No,
not.
I have not
I
seen
wish.
it.
I would love to see it.
I have seen clips from YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Been
You did your
studying.
homework.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, I think you
wow.
deserve to both
Well,
take
we
a little trip
definitely
after.
are going to get our tickets. Where's the best place, or how is the best place for people to find their tickets? Is there get online, I guess?
I
or-
believe
I'll
they'll
pull out
they'll be
mine.
sold online, and it'll be not general admission. It'll be assigned seating, so you
Okay.
can social
Oh,
distance
that's
throughout
right,
the theater.
okay.
But you can buy tickets at the door as well, I believe.
And it's going to be at Spanish Fork High School, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Best of luck to you
I
both.
know.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
We
so
appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to do amazing.
Yes, thanks for
Excited.
coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, coming up next, we'll dig deep into the mind of a rodeo clown. Stay with us for more Studio Chatter. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. You might question the smarts of a bull rider, but what about those crazy clowns that charge into the fray? We've got the chance to find out. Welcome Joe Butler, our resident professional rodeo bullfighter.
Hi, Joe.
Welcome.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Great to be here.
Good. I'm glad you're here.
Yep.
Totally glad that you're here. So first, some differentiators. What is the difference between a clown, a bullfighter? What do you prefer?
You know, rodeos turned into athletes. I mean,
Okay.
before it was not, but not as much, I guess. And now, when you got a rodeo clown, and when you're thinking of the clown, you're thinking of the guy that's out there doing jokes and telling acts and being funny and is normally kind of scared and runs from bulls. Then you got the bullfighters, and our job is to go in there and save the cowboys, save the bull riders, and, so that's just the different. Can't even say that word. Between the two, yeah, that
Sound
one there.
like a true athlete, and you really are saving lives.
Yeah, so it just pull us apart and
Okay.
So you
I'm
haven't
nuts.
been a rodeo clown. You've
not-
always been.
always been
A
bullfighters.
bullfighter.
Back years ago and stuff, they, we were all clowns. I mean, that's how
Yeah,
it was
right.
determined. But
But now they have one of each.
now it's turned
some of each.
turned away, and we've gone away. Like you can see, I mean, this is one of my jerseys here. You kind of got away from the face paint and the baggies, and
Right.
Yeah.
wear a shortened jersey, and so it's just rodeo.
Who's the best clown in the rodeo?
Joe Butler. I hate him too. He's just so pretty. I can't beat that guy. He's just so pretty. Except when he gets his face smashed. Come see if that happens again. Yeah.
So, Joe, how happy are you to be working this summer?
Oh man!
Tell us about that ride.
After everything that's going on, I mean, rodeo's getting shut down all over the place, and just to have rodeo coming back is awesome. I mean, it's great. Eagle Mountain had their rodeo a couple weeks ago. I'll actually be at Oakley's rodeo this weekend. On the 17th, we've got a bull riding in Harriman, and then come right into Spanish Forks rodeo. And Spanish Forks going to be the first one I've been to this year, or since all this COVID deal, that is full crowd. I mean, let's have fun.
How are the others doing their crowds?
A lot of them are social distancing crowds.
Okay.
So just limited spectators.
Okay.
They're selling half the crowds, and they think
Yeah.
that people are able to social distance with their family and
And
stuff.
are they doing masks or taking any other precautions, or just?
You know, they're recommending them. You know, and that's kind of a trade-off. I know here at Spanish Fork that we are going to wear masks,
Yeah.
and I can't stand them. They drive me nuts.
Right.
But I'm going to wear one.
You'll
Yeah.
do it
And
if that's the way you're
if it
having a
means I get to rodeo
Yeah.
and we get to have a rodeo, so, and that's just part of it. I think if people are for them or against it, you know, come enjoy the fun and entertainment and throw a mask on and come. It's for a couple hours. You know,
So
it's
to this
not-
point, you've not had to wear one yet.
I've had
Oh, you
like
ha- okay.
at Eagle Mountain, we had to wear one because we were down and around and stuff like that.
Okay.
And Oakley, we're gonna have to wear masks this weekend and stuff. So, you know, like at Eagle Mountain, they were able to social distance and they recommended wearing them,
Okay.
but we didn't have to, or they didn't have to, the spectators. But you know, I'm all for it. I mean, if we get a chance to rodeo, whatever it takes. I mean,
I hear you.
Sure. Okay.
How
And
many
I-
shows do you normally, or shows, rodeos, I guess, do you normally do in a typical season?
right now I'm working about 25.
But
Per
that's
month.
not typical.
Or
No,
like
25 a
five-
year. I mean, normally, the last couple of years, I've been about 25
okay.
rodeos a year.
But each rodeo has 3-4 nights each.
Yeah.
And you're doing every one of
Yeah,
those nights
yeah,
too.
yeah.
How do you prepare for one? Like, is it scary? Like,
I've been doing it for 20 years,
Yeah,
and it's
That was
just
going
kind
to be
of
my next question.
Yeah.
it's just kind of part of it. I mean, you go in there, and if anybody says that they're not intimidated or scared of a bull, it's just how you use that fear. I mean, everybody's got fight or flight, and
right.
if you're running into a wreck or away from a wreck, and it's just channeling that energy into a good cause. So it's.
But how did that start for you?
Yeah,
Like,
did
how do
somebody
you
teach
just
you,
one
like,
day
how to
you're
be
just
a
like, I'm going to
bullfighter?
be a bullfighter?
I've always been one that's wild and crazy and
Okay.
adrenaline junkie, and I went to college on team roping scholarship, and I was roommates with some bull riders. I was going to start riding bulls at college rodeos, just something to do. I don't know, thought it'd be fun. They talked me into fighting bulls, and that was
it.
that was fall of 2000, I guess, whenever I
Okay.
started. So it's been a whirlwind.
And
since
what's cool
then.
is you've just recently moved to the Spanish Fork area. You're
Yeah,
out on West
it-
Mountain.
It's been great. I mean, I just moved here in October.
Okay.
Closed on our house in September. I've had great opportunities in my life, and one great opportunity that's happened to me lately. I've loved Spanish Forks area.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to move here. I've been working this rodeo. I think this will be 15 years now.
Wow.
I love it, and Rock Canyon Bank's been one of my main sponsors for 6 years probably. And last July they made me a job offer. So I went to work for Rock Canyon Bank in their
That's so
in the
cool.
ag department. It's been phenomenal, and they still want me to rodeo, so it still gives me an opportunity to
Yeah.
rodeo. But it moved me into a great area, and around. I mean, God, I've got more friends here than I do anywhere else I've lived. So
That's
it's
so
it's
awesome.
awesome.
That is awesome. So what about injuries?
Oh. I think sometimes it'd probably be easier to tell you what I haven't broke than.
Let's go back
wow.
to last year. You got
Okay.
a doozy last
Yes.
year, right? Or
La-
was that 2 years ago?
No, that was last year.
Okay.
Cowboys down went over top of him. Bull's horn hit me right here in the nose. Broke my nose, and that's just part of it, I
But
guess.
was it the year before that? Was it your rib or something?
I
can't
had
think-
broken ribs last year from Oakley last year.
When you came here.
Yeah,
probably
so I had them
recovering.
broke when I showed up here.
So you will still work. You'll still be out there fighting with broken this
You
or
know,
that.
I can say I've never not worked a rodeo because of injury or something. I mean, a couple years ago, here at Spanish Fork, one of the Champions Challenges, I broke my arm. Bull hit right there,
Yep,
like the
I
third
remember
bull
that.
out. Broke my arm. I finished that night, and we
Oh.
kept going. Went Monday, got plates and screws in it, and was back fighting bulls
Oh,
on
my
Thursday. Broken nose. I don't know how many people were there, or remember it, but I mean, shoot, it was bleeding, and
Uh-huh.
it was pretty nasty until we finally got it all cleaned up. And
Wow.
Two
So do you
black
have
guys.
highlight moments? I know that's hard to say, but do you have something that stands out, a rodeo or an experience there?
Spanish Fork's always been one of my favorite rodeos. I mean, they're one of the ones that you look forward to. I mean, Spanish Fork's in the top 10 rodeos in the nation. I mean, I don't think people realize that live here and go to
Right.
the rodeo every year
How amazing
that this is
show
one of the
is.
largest rodeos in the country. And how much work the committee, the city, I mean, people don't realize the behind the scenes. I mean, with the city council and with the mayor and the city goes through, and then you got the Diamond Fork Riding Club, all the work that they do to make this rodeo happen. I mean, there's a lot of
It's a year-long
moving parts.
process.
It
They're-
is.
They're working all the time.
It is.
And that's
They
really
plan their
neat to hear from
shows.
you that
Yeah.
this is one of the best in the country.
It is. I mean, the best hospitality, and I mean, you look at prize money and stuff, it's ranked in the top rodeos in the nation. But when you talk about hospitality and, I mean, God, we show up here and they feed us breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and there's no reason to leave or go anywhere. I mean,
It
they
draws
take-
you right in to buy a home.
Yeah, it does.
And can we bring in your little guy
Yeah,
with
yeah.
us?
Well, you know, you have outreach outside of the state too. So when you're talking to other cowboys that are coming in from out of the state, I mean, is that part of the draw too? Even in a COVID situation, are they they're willing to make the drive?
You know, they are. And right now, with rodeos being so short and canceling, it's, I mean, these guys are traveling all over. And, you know, you can't say enough. I mean, coming from me, being a rodeo guy, these rodeos that are actually doing the rodeos, how hard it is and how many hoops they got to jump through to make it work, you know, from all the cowboys. Can't say thank you enough on having a place to be able to go work, go have fun, enjoy it, the entertainment side of it. I mean, it's just, these guys are working their tails off to make things happen. And
They're probably family guys too. So tell us about your little guy here. What's your name?
Brantley.
this is Brantley. He's my youngest one.
And does he
Him.
want to be a bullfighter or a bull rider?
Bullfighter.
Bullfighter. Has your dad been teaching you all of his tricks?
I was gonna say, does it scare you to break your nose one day?
No.
What? You're 8 years old and you're not scared to break ribs and noses and arms?
Mm-mm.
Has he brought you out into the arena before and let you practice?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fought many bulls and stuff like that, and chased the sheep around, and he's had fun. That's one thing that I'm really going to enjoy about being here in Spanish Fork now is before I would leave in May and I wouldn't even go back home till October. And they would normally fly out in July and spend about 7 to 10 days, but I'd see them for 7 to 10 days
All
from
summer.
1st of May to
5 months.
October, and now living here, you know, they're able to go and,
Yeah.
well, if we keep having rodeos.
Yeah. You're seeing them more this summer probably than
Yeah,
ever.
yeah, I've seen them more. I mean, normally I've been gone for
Yeah.
a month already, or 2 months, I guess. So.
Wow.
Wow, that's
You don't like going, do you?
No, I like it.
You do?
They're getting old
Wow.
enough. I'm putting him to work. I made him go load steers all day today. So
well. You seem like you're very well mannered and probably a hard worker, right? Is that the cowboy life?
And you have an older brother.
Yeah.
Does he also want to be a bullfighter?
No.
What does he want to do? Do you know?
he changes his mind daily,
Oh.
huh?
Okay, so
He wants to be the clown.
you'll follow in your dad's footsteps.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you came here tonight with your dad.
I don't
for
think I was going
joining
to be able to. I can't hardly leave the house without him.
That's fun.
That's amazing.
So we were talking about Yellowstone and how that's been back on again. And were you in that?
I haven't been in
You
it.
just
I've
helped out with it?
called a couple times. I've done quite a few photo shoots and a lot of commercials and stuff. And they've called twice on that deal, but I've been booked and with rodeos and stuff. I have went up and helped them get some buffalo in that got out. But
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Our own Stacy Beck had a little cameo shot in
yeah,
that.
she did. I seen it.
That was a bucket list moment. I'll always remember.
I seen it.
Super cool.
She's right there
Well,
with
now
Kevin.
that you're in town, maybe it'll happen.
Man, it's
Yeah,
amazing what
You'll
all
get
comes
used
along
to
with
being
it.
grounded, then you won't want to travel next summer when things start
You
opening
know
back
what?
up.
The good thing about it is most of my rodeos are within 3 or 4 hours of here. So,
Oh, so
I
that's
mean, I don't
perfect.
have a whole lot of traveling.
that's
and I
awesome.
mean, being right around here, and
Cool.
so it's awesome.
Good.
Well, you stay safe.
Yeah,
and
good
we'll
luck.
look forward to Fiesta Days. Thank you
Oh,
both for
I'm
being here.
Looking forward to it for sure.
All right,
Thanks,
very good,
Joe.
guys. Thanks so much. Next on Studio Chatter, we'll talk more about how COVID-19 has changed our celebration. That's coming right up. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. This year's Fiesta Days will be very different from what we have experienced in the past. Let's talk about some of the changes.
Oh.
Okay,
changes.
so
We have an expert here
yes,
that kind of knows.
the new normal.
We
The
know
new
we're going to
normal.
have the
In
rodeo.
Fiesta days.
The rodeo's a go, and there are some possibilities of a couple things changing. So we want to recommend that everyone checks the website.
Okay.
If you have an event that you want to go to, just check it. Maybe before you go down.
So
But-
it's those things, like explain how you made
So
the choices.
the way we ended up making the decision, we had to make that at the end of June because we needed weeks to prepare for the
Right.
magazine to go to the printer, for people, all the volunteers to get in line, infrastructure, several different things. But it comes down to what the governor's currently instructing the state to do, and
Okay.
that is contact tracing. That's a big factor. So the events you'll find that you are able to go to or participate in, they can do contact tracing.
Okay.
So any of the Spanish Fork Parks and Rec Department activities, any of those sports, they could report back to you. Angie, you played pickleball, and
I have
there-
these people on the list.
Yes, and
Okay.
one of them reported back for
Okay.
COVID. Whereas the grand parade, that would have been thousands and thousands of people, and we would not have been able to
Right.
contact
Is
any
that
of
the
them.
difference with, let's say, the rodeo, because it's sold ticket
Yes.
sales, and
Yes.
because it's a lesser number of tickets that are sold?
And in a
Right.
controlled environment,
And
maybe?
you can require
Okay.
the mask wearing, and the rodeo committee and the riding club worked closely, as well as the city manager and mayor, with people up in the governor's office, and they want an event this size to happen so they can see how well it goes off, so they can plan future events. We don't know how long this is going to be for the next hopefully just a couple more months, but possibly another year.
Right.
And you can't cancel all events, so they're hoping that, let's see how Spanish Fork does that, and we are working very closely with the state of Utah.
So I love so much that Spanish Fork has always kind of set precedents for things. So I kind of love
And
that
I
Spanish
feel
Fork
like
is
we
being
work
made
really-
an example and
Right.
able to report back, hopefully, in a very positive way.
Yeah.
I am curious to know about the mask requirement. So do you know how that will work in the rodeo? So if you're required to go inside with the mask, will there be announcements throughout to check your mask or make sure that, do you know?
Well, the rodeo is kind of like, I am the representative over Fiesta days, but
Okay.
I've always looked at the rodeo of its own little
baby.
beast. Yeah,
Okay.
they have their own thing.
yeah, totally
I
fair.
do know they will require masks upon entrance. I mean, you eat at the rodeo.
Sure.
Like, I get my kettle corn, my pineapple with the
Right.
ice cream.
So it's probably pulled
So-
down, eat
When are
it,
we not
but
eating?
conversing with other people. or-
Right.
right.
But so of course they're going to allow
Sure.
you to take it off to eat. But if you're just watching, they're gonna. I'm
Right.
sure.
It's probably much like going to a restaurant or something
Well, it
like
is
that. Like you
outside.
wear it in and then
Yeah.
your controlled environment with your own people. And you guys have limited seats, right? In
Right. As
certain-
of today, when we're filming, the state number is 6,000, and I
Okay.
believe we can sell 7,500. I think. So they've put it right at 6,000. So if that opens up closer to tickets to the rodeo, they'll open that up.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so what else besides our rodeo?
The baby contest will be held, and that, again, check online. Right now it's supposed to start at 3:30 to 6:30, but they may kind of stretch that out. They will only allow one person to come in with the baby and keep the social distancing and not, hold or touch the babies.
Right.
The car show will be down at the sports park, and that will be on the 11th, I believe.
And then we
I
talked
think
the
so.
youth theater, Frozen,
The youth theater,
and then Speedy Spaniard.
the Speedy Spaniard will happen, and then the fireworks.
Sidewalk sales.
Yep, lots of sidewalk sales.
And the
the
food
cha-
trucks.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And of course the food
the
truck.
food trucks won't be the normal what we're used to, like the Texas Twister, and some of those.
Okay.
specific
so
themes.
so what will it look
Specifics.
like?
So it's only going to be the night of the 24th of July,
Oh, okay.
from 5 to 10.
Okay.
So it'll be food trucks. So
Okay.
you know how we have Friday night food trucks?
Yes, it'll
just
be similar.
Since the 24th is on a Friday night, they'll just have those.
What
food
about okay, so we're used to maybe having the vendors in the park also.
Yes.
Will they be more spread throughout, like more sidewalk sale type?
Yeah, they'll for the food trucks. Is that what you're asking?
The vendors, like,
like the little
like the
market.
shops.
Like the craft fair? No craft fair.
Yeah.
So they won't be spread out.
They
Okay.
were really hoping,
Darn
but
it.
we really, since there's no carnival no
Okay,
food,
that's fair.
That's
and
really
no
hard
entertainment in the
to
park.
do that.
We
Yeah.
thought that's not going to be a draw.
Okay.
So, but the 24th, I just encourage people to maybe start a new tradition.
Sure.
Still get together with your family,
Right.
do some fun things during the day. The pool will be open that day.
Okay.
They'll have the pool party, do your own festivities and events, and then you could go down and get dinner at the food trucks or go to the rodeo on the 24th if
And
it's
then
not sold out.
watch the fireworks.
Yeah,
Somewhere
watch the
fun.
fireworks. That'll be we're actually investing in some bigger fireworks that can shoot higher, so people throughout the city at their homes or other
Oh, I love
parks.
that idea.
Do you know,
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind of a
great.
fun time to just get creative, maybe roll it back to the 1950s or 50s or something.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, even some of the camping that we've been doing in the living room while our air conditioner has been broken.
Yeah.
You just have to be a
Just
little
be
creative, and
yeah.
there's still things to do and
You
get
have
out
a good
and enjoy
attitude and
Fiesta
just
days.
enjoy what we can.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll see you both
Okay.
at the youth theater.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Elsa
check
and
online regularly.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. All right, coming up next, we'll talk about why Fiesta Days is better than Christmas on Studio Chatter. Welcome back to Studio Chatter. We all have our share of our favorite Fiesta Day stories, and our next guests have more than most of us combined. Welcome Lena and John Mendenhall to the program. Welcome, guys.
Welcome, Mendenhall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is going to
My
be
first
fun.
time meeting. I'm so excited. All the
Mendenhall.
stories are going to be new.
I want to ask right out of the gate, what's your first Fiesta Days memory?
My very first Fiesta Days
go back
memory,
in
Very
time.
first?
Yeah.
And do you remember the year?
it would have been probably about 1950.
No, you're not serious.
Seriously. My grandma and grandpa lived here in Spanish Fork. I lived in Draper at the time, but we would come down for the celebration. And what I remember the most is the parade and the carnival. And then they only had four places on the park that you could get food, and they'd be assigned to wards in Spanish Fork.
Oh,
there were
I
two
love it.
steaks.
Oh, yes.
So there would be two from one steak and two from another steak. And it's pretty much just hamburgers, hot dogs, and they like to cut up ice cream and dip it in chocolate and roll it in nuts. And that's what I remember eating, is that ice cream sundae on a stick.
How old do you think
Really?
you were?
I think I was probably 5 or 6.
No
And I was
way.
born in '52, so
So
it would have been about.
it was probably back
57,
then
58.
too, like it was one day. Now it's 2
Yes.
weeks, and that was just like a parade. Do you remember the rodeo? Would you go back?
No,
to
I
the
didn't. I don't remember going to
Okay,
the
so
rodeo
the
until
parade.
later. But
Okay.
yeah,
Lena,
we went to the
What
rodeo.
about you?
Same.
Okay.
I do remember being in the parade when I was about 5, because our LDS church
Yes.
was sponsoring it. Our ward, Palmyra Ward, won the miniature parade.
So you guys
Float.
made floats?
Yes,
Oh.
so I got
So
to be on the float that year. It was probably about 1958.
It's so neat to be a part of stuff like that.
But
So-
it's like you're speaking a different language when you talk to other people that are outside of the state, and you're talking about steaks and words and Pioneer Day, and they're like,
Where
what?
are you?
What are, you-
Where?
what,
Like
what are these
some
things?
people here think it's a national holiday. Like my husband will not be off work or someone, and they'll
Right.
write, "You guys
Right.
don't work on the 24th."
That's sick and wrong.
Certainly, you're going to take it as a floating holiday, right? It's your floating holiday, of course.
Yeah,
so,
That's sort of true.
One experience we had is when our kids were little, and we used to park where it was Will's Foodland. I remember pulling up there because we'd sit our family in front of like where MVP is.
Okay.
And the store was closed, of course, because it was our celebration. And I remember a car pulling up, and we were getting out, packing treats and chairs and
Drinks.
whatnot. And this person went up to the door of Will's to open it, or to go in. And it was locked, and they turned to me and said, "What is going on here?" And I says, "It's the 24th of July."
And he's like,
She says,
And
she says, "Yeah, tomorrow's the 25th." I says, "Okay." Then I noticed that their car license plate was from California.
Oh.
So they had
So
no
they had
idea.
no idea it was our state holiday.
It's a big deal. I think if you're
yeah.
from Spanish Fork, you may schedule a vacation once during the 24th. But once you do that, you never do it again. Because there's so many memories.
Right, and I grew up in Provo, so we're actually scheduled to go to California during the 24th, and all of us now that live here, me and my children, were like, why would they schedule
I know,
this?
who does
We're
that?
not torn between going to Disneyland and staying here for the 24th, and it's real.
Well, it sounds like that decision
is
will
real.
be made
It
for you.
will be made for
So-
me probably here soon.
And you know, I have brothers and sisters that live in Salt Lake Valley, and they'll bring their entire family down, and you'll hear their kids when they hit about teenagers
Yeah.
age, and they start going, "This is a podunk little
Again."
thing, you know, and why are we down here?" But they come every year,
And then
they
once
don't
they're
miss
married,
it.
they always
Then
come
they always
back.
And
Right.
now the grandkids come with them, you know, and so it's a special feeling. And you've probably run into this, Stacy, that other cities cannot believe what Spanish Fork does for the
You're
money that
right.
we spend, and it has to do with the volunteerism and all of the people that donate their time and talents and energies to a great celebration.
It
Everybody
really
else
is
says, "How do you
community.
afford that? You know, how do you afford all these things?"
It's true. But you guys were right in the forefront of being those main volunteers as the Fiesta Days chairman in 2015, which meant you served in 2014. You were the main chairman in 15, and then the past chairman in 16. So it's a 3-year commitment
It is.
Yes.
of meetings every month.
Every
but
month.
what did you learn from that experience? What do you feel like you walked away with?
A lot of, just like we said, the spirit of volunteerism. I mean, you can't, there's no way it can be done without that help. And just the cooperation
That-
and the time. I mean, the time that's,
We had no idea the time that it takes.
I don't think anybody
When the 24th of
does.
July is over, you've only got a couple of weeks, and we come back and and you pick it apart and say, what could we have done better, and what really worked well.
That's a good
And by
leader to do that.
September, we're right back
We're
at
right
it
back
again,
at
right?
Yes.
planning for the next
So-
next year.
And what a great staff Spanish Fork City has.
Yeah.
It holds that together year after year, and the 3-year commitment on the committee is a really fun thing because the first year you're learning, and you're drinking from a fire hose.
Yes.
And then as you get to your 3rd year, you know, you're helping the others, and it's a really cool thing, you know, to have all of that and to be part of the decisions that are made. That's another thing that we had no idea of. You know, what color are the shirts going to be that we
know,
wear?
that's
You know? That's the biggest
Like
fight
the
we have.
details, and they
Oh, yeah.
matter, but then it's like,
It
oh my
does
goodness,
matter.
that's a whole day of those
Coming
little
up
mini.
with the logo.
The logo.
yeah.
The theme.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are like big things. Or going through the
It really
magazine
is.
and do we want to add a new event? And I think that's why I reference in 1958 it was one day, and then these chairmen, let's add another day, let's add this, and now it's like this big 2-week celebration. Whereas a year or two ago we're like, we need to like chop. This is like
Take her
huge.
down.
Like,
Take
we
it
don't-
down a little.
But isn't that the element that you just love so
I
much?
do.
So the pride and progress. I mean, I think that's what I love about the 3-year commitment, because you're not getting stuck in the old, and it is that constant movement to the progress. And what
So
did you
true.
learn this year, and the turnover, and
then pass
you're-
it down
and then
to
passing it
someone
down, and
else.
yes,
Right.
so it's the kind of the past, present, and the future. So that it's that constant
like that
turnover
analogy.
to the new and the old, and
right.
but it's like this little baby that you're handing. But you
That's right.
that you care for, and you're just
It's
not
like
going to hand it
quadruplets.
off to whomever. Well, we see kind of the same thing with the Miss Spanish Fork organization, because you just don't want to hand it off to just whomever, because there's so much care and pride and progress that you take with it, and then that spirit of volunteerism, and then all those things. So, oh gosh, yes, just
It's
all those things, all that hard work that you put into it. So
And there are things that
you.
start and other things that end. And sometimes they're 1-year flashes, and other times, you know, there can be things that
tradition.
become a tradition. You know, the Speedy Spaniard race, we remember when that started the first time,
Oh,
you know.
really?
Oh, yeah.
One
And-
year I even ran it.
And
Good for
finished.
you.
She finished.
I've never done it, Lena, so good job.
She left her breakfast up on Poplar Lane. but
no.
she finished.
What's some of your favorite events that happened during our 2 weeks?
We've talked about a couple of those. since Pete asked us to come down and share some of our memories. Probably the one that we will remember the most is we were instrumental in getting a choir to come and perform in Spanish Fork. The rodeo arena was just a year or so old, and it was recognized as one of the best venues in Utah County. And there's a choir called Millennial Choirs and Orchestra. They represent 5 states, and Utah is one of them. They're in Arizona, California, Texas, and Idaho as well. And our son happens to be a conductor of this choir. This choir is performed in New York in Carnegie Hall, and in front of the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C., and in all the states. And they are just an amazing choir, and we thought, wouldn't that be cool if they could come and perform here in Spanish Fork, because they're very in demand. And it worked out that they did not have a tour that summer, and so we got them to come. And it was kind of interesting because we had gone to some of their spring tours. They sing a lot of patriotic stuff, and so they had this show that they had put on called To Be American. Not an American, but To Be American. And Glenn Beck, the radio host, had been the announcer of that program. And he had laryngitis and couldn't come. But he was in the area. He was actually at the performance. And we had it down there. And the thing that was interesting about it is that they had performed in all these different venues, but they'd never been in a rodeo arena, in the dirt. The guy who's the manager of the entire choir, he's full-time employed with them to do all of the things that are there. And that particular year, the only time that we could have this was on a Friday night, and Thursday night was the flag retirement ceremony, and Saturday the rodeo started. So we had a 24-hour period to do all of the staging of these. There were 350 performers. Wow. And a 100-piece orchestra that was set up there. So we had to put a stage on the floor, and we had all of the choir up behind the bucking chutes. Well, that's not very attractive, so we got some bunting and put it there. And as soon as the flag ceremony was done, they came out and covered up the coals with dirt. And thought that will put the fire out.
Oh no.
Well, we were supposed to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning to start this setup. There were dozens and dozens of microphones, towers with the speakers on them, towers for the lighting and all this other stuff that had to be done. And this guy and I were the only two that were there, about 10 to 7, and he was standing down in the dirt like this. And I said, "What's wrong?" And he says, "Well," he says, "look at the smoke coming out of the dirt." And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Well, I don't know whether to set this thing up or whether to go back to the hotel and get some hot dogs and have a weenie roast."
Oh.
But the thing and they were fantastic, and to this day we have people that say, "Well, is the MCO going to come again?"
Yeah.
And the mayor is one of them, Steve Leifson, will say, "When are we going to get those guys back? When are we going?" Well, I don't know that it'll ever work again to bring them back where they're.
It was just right.
Yeah, their schedule worked. But the final song that they sang was a very patriotic song, and of course, all of us in Spanish Fork are aware of the Canyon Wind, right? Mm-hmm. It's about 9:30, 10 o'clock. It's dark, and they have that huge flag at the north end of the stadium, and it had been just hanging there all night, beautiful. Mm-hmm. And as the choir got to the crescendo of that performance, all of a sudden the wind just picked up just a little bit and blew the flag straight out.
I remember that.
And it was just fluttering. And everybody we talked to said, "How did you do that? Did you have a fan on that?
You had a big fan. I know you had
Or did you have a rope on that you hung it out there?" And all it was the Canyon Wind. And somehow that happened that just on cue, that flag started to flutter and blow.
Beautiful.
And so it was really cool, and that was probably our best memory of our days in Fiesta days. But we'll tell them about the dad that came up to you.
Yeah.
He was from Provo.
You know, you've got the long line of moms and kids having
Grandmas.
to get the bag that had the tickets to go around to all of the free stuff.
Right.
Everything is free. And father came up and pulled out his wallet and says, how much is this? How much is this? We says, no, put it back, put it away. Karen and I, and he says, well, you don't go anywhere without paying for it.
Right.
I says, well, you do here. You do at this.
That is so neat.
That's
Yeah.
a great memory.
It was always
Well,
fun.
unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much for sharing.
But I've got more.
Yeah, yeah. I know. There's so much more, right? We're just so happy to have
Thanks, John and
Fiesta Days
Lena.
this
Yeah,
year. Thank you
We're
so
glad
much.
to be
you.
here, and we hope that Fiesta Days continues the great tradition. This year's going to be different, but it'll still be.
It'll be here.
Absolutely.
It'll happen.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's more Studio Chatter coming up. Welcome back. Wow, what a show, right?
It was a great show.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm
I am
excited
too.
for Fiesta Days.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's worth mentioning tonight too that our set looks a little bit.
It looks nice and festive
Better.
and really clean and professional.
Yes.
We love our new little
Love the
table
new
wraps.
Table covers, yeah.
Thank
Go
you,
Pete.
Pete.
Shout out us.
Because we may
Decorators.
be sitting on these tables for
For a
longer than
while.
we wanted
A
to.
little longer than we.
I really thought maybe it'd be June,
I did too.
and then we'd be back at our
Back
cute
to
little
our-
table.
Yep.
But
But these are nice.
okay, so what are
For
you
a
guys
minute.
most excited for Fiesta Days?
Guys, well,
Well,
I
you
may
might
not
even
be here.
We won't even talk to her.
Okay.
So that kind of makes my heart hurt. But, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
you guys talk. I love it all.
Well, I love all of it also. I mean, I think it's just a new way of being creative, maybe of what goes on during the day, but certainly the rodeo. And I have to say, I may be a little bummed about the parade. I look forward to announcing
Yeah.
the parade and seeing my beautiful girls atop the
Yeah, they're
the
royalty.
float.
Maybe
yes.
they could just walk down the street.
They may,
Just-
you know, and they're
maybe so.
still going to be participating in so many events, and they have so much fun at the baby contest and the car show, and
Yeah.
and I think probably one of the highlights for them, and I hate speaking on their behalf, but is enjoying all of the FaceTime with the the
little
children
girls.
in the tents and maybe some of those things they'll miss out on, but I think that they'll find other ways to do that. So.
Yeah.
And maybe be more interactive with just the people or whatever instead of the whole event participating. Maybe they can
I think
mingle
so.
and just.
I think
You tell
so.
those girls to get creative.
Yeah.
Creative. If they can come up with something fun, do
Oh,
it.
I think they most definitely will.
do it.
If anybody can do it,
It was
they
fun to
certainly
have
can.
John and Lena lend us some memories.
Uh-huh.
That was
Yeah,
that was
and what a
fun.
history. I mean, since the age of 5, it sounds
Yeah.
like both of them have those moments, which is
Mm-hmm.
really neat that they can bring like all that and then serve our
We'll
community.
have to have them back
in a
another
leadership
time
role.
because one thing that I didn't get to ask them, or that maybe we didn't get to ask them, was the love story. How they kind
Oh,
of
yeah, 'cause
ended
it
up.
sounds like she maybe lived here.
Mhm,
Yeah.
and he
came
didn't. That he
down.
was the visitor.
Right.
I didn't
Oh,
get
that
to
would be
ask
good.
that.
We'll have to
Valentine's.
ask that.
Yes, yes. Write it down and schedule it.
And
right
then
now
Joe's
because-
just awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, that was really, really neat that he's moved back into
That's what I
town and-
think. I
yeah.
think that's the coolest part of the whole story is that he loved Spanish Fork so
So
much.
much.
After competing here in his sport for 15 years, he
And
bought a
that now
home
he has
and
a
got
job and a home and can just be
Yeah.
a part of our community. That's really saying a lot about
that's
our
cool.
community.
There really is something about the spirit of community and volunteerism here, and that it really takes a village to
Yeah.
make it all happen and go forward. And I just really hope that it goes off smoothly, and that it can be that example, and that they all pull through together and get through this.
Yeah, and I think the month of July there's no other month that there's so much service in a month with all of the volunteers, and so let's just encourage everyone to still get out, look for new ways to be
And
creative.
I won't
have
be
fun.
here, but Elsa and Anna sing to me. You
That's
guys.
true.
Right?
Oh,
so I
yeah.
kind of
Yes.
feel,
So
yeah,
yes,
like
we
I
got
got
that.
a big piece of the
But
fun
you
for-
may not be going to California,
I
honey.
may not
You
be.
may be with us.
It's getting a little bit more and more strict. And then we said, do we chance getting down there? And then they put on more restrictions, and then we're stuck in a hotel room, not even being able to be on the beach. Like, that would not be fun. So we're going to give it about 7 days, the family decided, and then make a little.
I think you may be with us.
Kind of like the Fiesta Days committee. Yeah. So I'll need rodeo tickets.
There you go.
I will sing for them.
There you go.
Well, and maybe here's another perspective. If there are things that maybe you haven't done traditionally Fiesta Days, I mean, there's 2 weeks of events. So if there's always the standard things that you've done before.
Like I haven't hit the car show.
Right.
Maybe that would be something
flip-flop
really
it
fun.
around, change it up.
Yeah, well, last year was our first year. The 3 of us went down to the theater.
And it was so great.
It might be their biggest year.
It really may be. Then they'll be sold out because they can't social distance, so they'll be turning people away at the door.
That's our hope for them.
Yeah,
that would be
I
awesome.
love that.
That would be fun.
Yes, well, they're going to be very popular
great
anyway
little
with the little
voices
people,
And I will
right?
say, Angie, one of my favorite things now is the car show.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a good
I just
choice.
started like 5 years ago. We go every year now.
Okay.
So
I'm going to highlight that one then. I need to do
Yes.
it.
Go get your highlighter. Okay, very good. Well, thanks for being here with us. We hope you enjoyed the chatter. Stay safe.